Loading. System update. You are now part of the herd. Hi guys, welcome back to Loading Her. I hope you guys are doing well. I am so happy that you are here and that you are part of my herd. I have gotten so much back so far from friends and friends of friends and family, and just so much love with starting this podcast. And I haven't shared it with the world just yet, but I am actually about to do that. So if you notice a little bit more nervousness in me today, that is probably what it is. So I've been going through a lot of changes recently in my life. You'll have to excuse me. I'm a little under the weather, so I sound a little nasally today, but a lot of change has happened for me in the past few years. I have named this episode, Hold Please, She's a Woman Now, Wait What? Because that is exactly how I feel. I feel like womanhood, mainly a woman's body, like growing into my body as a woman, has snuck up on me completely. And to be honest, I don't know what I was doing in my 20s. I know that I didn't care so much. Not that I care more now, but I wasn't observing as much, observing how I carried myself, observing how I felt comfortable, things that happen now with my body, and the way that I feel in my skin is a lot different now. So I feel like womanhood has completely snuck up on me, and here we are. I'm 31 years old, learning about how to be a woman and learning about what that feels like and what that looks like for me. And it's been a journey that I've been trying to figure out. It's a journey that I have never really had to figure out. And although I have two sisters, I think that we are all similar in the way that we are not girly girls. So the whole makeup thing is new to me. I feel like I've been teaching myself makeup the past few years and still don't know what I'm doing, because I don't like to wear makeup on a regular basis, but sometimes I like to wear makeup and I like the way I feel in makeup in the beginning of the day. And then by the time I'm at the end of the day, I'm ready to get it off of me. But that has been a learning experience. And then also having a woman's body now where my thighs rub together and I have to be careful what shorts I wear and what pants I wear. And I'm not a size 6 or 5 anymore. And I actually have boobs all of a sudden, which I feel like showed up overnight, because through my whole 20s, I never wore a bra because I didn't have boobs and nobody could really tell. And now, as a 31-year-old woman, I'm not used to wearing a bra and I hate it. I don't like the way it feels. So I'm having to learn what's comfortable, what works, because my body style is not not that I ever felt like I was petite per se, but my body style has definitely changed from how I was when I was growing up. Never really had boobs or curves of any kind. And now I would consider myself a curvy woman. So that has been an interesting thing. Growing up, I was always a tomboy. I was playing sports. I was outside. I wanted to be one of the boys. I wanted to climb trees and be dirty. And my sister and I were very much tomboys playing outside all the time. So I've always had a little bit of that in me. I did, when I got to middle school and high school, kind of leaned into more of a girly side because I wanted to be a cheerleader, because that's what you do when you're a high school, middle school girl and your friends are cheerleaders. And that's just, it's almost like it's been ingrained into your brain, some of us, to want to be one of the girls, you know? So I ended up stepping away from cheering and starting swim team, which I loved. I was a swimmer when I was in elementary school, and then I got back into swimming in high school, and I loved it. I felt I could still be a little bit more of the tomboy side of me when I was doing that. But all the girls in high school, you know, are wearing makeup and they're straightening their hair. And, you know, I definitely was learning how to be a girl and very much obsessed with what I wore. And this is like freshman year, middle school, like because of the girls that I was hanging out with, you know, that's just what we were doing. We were being girls, you know, and that was, I think, when I started actually having close girlfriends that weren't my siblings or people at church. So I really didn't know what I was doing. I was just kind of doing what my friends were doing. When I got out of high school, I leaned into a little bit more of my tomboy side and liking, you know, high top sneakers and like Converse and Vans. And I was longboarding and still kind of doing that in high school a little bit in my later years when I was in swim team, and leaning into more so my tomboy side. So when I was in my early 20s and throughout my 20s, I was just this carefree, like natural wavy, not really straightening my hair or curling my hair. I just had long hair that I didn't really care about. I didn't really wear a bra because I didn't have boobs, and nobody really noticed, or so I thought. And I even ended up getting dreadlocks and had those for 10 years because I was really leaning into, for one, the spiritual side of me, and really just exploring this, I want to say, spiritual side of me, which is what brought me to the dreadlocks. I liked what they represented. Nobody that I knew was doing them in my area outside of Atlanta. It was right before I'd moved, and I was very much like slacklining, rock climbing, like in that world of being carefree. So I, you know, the yoga too, I liked what dreadlocks represent. And to me, they were representing going out of the social norm of what's beautiful. And I liked how cultures believed that your hair was your roots, like a tree, and it kept you grounded. And I think through my whole journey of having dreadlocks, I learned a lot about myself because I wasn't what society deemed to be pretty. And I also learned how to, I don't know, it was like an art piece on my head. And I could put beads in them and wrap them and play with them. And it was definitely an experience being different and a lot of people came at it with judgment, and some people would come at it with love. And especially being in the South, I was met with more judgment from old men, or, having piercings and looking different than what they want you to look like, or what they think you should look like. You're met with a little bit of hate. So when I turned 30 recently, I felt this change where my body was changing. I was starting to chafe. I was starting to sweat more. I felt more like I wanted to be comfortable, and like I had outgrown the dreadlock life. My locks were very long and heavy, and although I loved them, I kept having dreams that they were suffocating me. And I would wake up and my hair would be all everywhere and stressing me out and heavy. And I just didn't feel like it was me anymore. And I really felt like I wanted to know what it felt like to brush my hair and be not a girly girl, but more from what I thought I wanted to be as a woman. So I started the process of trying to brush them out. I knew that I wanted to go through that journey, and boy, was it a miserable journey trying to get them out of my hair. Originally, when I had started my dreadlocks, I thought I was going to shave my head when I was done with them. I was like, yeah, I had them for 10 years. I was 20. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to shave my head when I'm done with them. And growing up and being 30, I was like, I'm not ready to shave my head as a 30-year-old woman. So we started trying to brush them out, and it was miserable and painful, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But I ended up having actually somewhat healthy hair underneath. And I was very fortunate to have the help of my sister, my sister's best friend, and my boyfriend, all four of us yanking on my hair for 9 hours. It was horrendous and traumatizing because at the end of it, I was shaking from the trauma of everybody pulling on my hair, and it was crazy. So I went through that change at 30, and I was just ready to figure out what kind of woman I wanted to be, or that I want to be. Like I said in my last episode, listen to a lot of biographies of women that I look up to and things that they do in their life and how they carry themselves. And I am very much an observer. I like to note things about the way that I see certain women carry themselves. And I acknowledge parts that I like that make me want to carry myself in the way that they carry themselves. And something I've learned and leaned more towards is having more class and actually feeling comfortable in the clothes that I'm wearing, especially since I now have curves. So that has been a journey that I have been going on since I turned 30, trying to figure out what my style is as a woman, because in my 20s, I was carefree, crop tops, belly out, no bra, and I was smaller. And now I'm thinking about how I want to carry myself and feel comfortable rather than how I was before. Not that I was uncomfortable, but that's not comfortable to me anymore. So I started trying to get rid of clothes that didn't make me feel comfortable, that didn't make me feel like me. And in that process, I have just recently had to purchase a bra. I have never had to go to a store and have them size me to figure out what size I am. This was an experience. This happened last weekend. I went to Victoria's Secret with my boyfriend and was like, okay, I'm going to figure out what bra size I am because I actually need to buy a bra that's comfortable to me. I own bras, but I usually wear bralettes because they're more comfortable to me. But I figured out that I need to buy a normal bra. So I go to Victoria's Secret and I had asked my friends what bras they enjoyed wearing that didn't hurt their shoulders. I asked them, I kind of took a poll around all the larger chested women that are my friends and even the ones that aren't. I was just like, what are we doing here? And so I took some of the things that they said into consideration and went to Victoria's Secret and was like, okay. So I just grabbed a few sizes. Like one of my friends was like, you're probably this size. So I grabbed that size and then like a few more. Turns out that size was extremely small for me. It was not the size I thought I was. I was very surprised at the size they actually told me that I was. But so I was trying on these different sizes. I was running to and from the dressing room because, quite frankly, I was embarrassed that a 31-year-old woman, had no idea what bra size I wore. So I'm walking around the store and I think I had figured out what bra size I am. And I walk up to this employee and I was like, hey, do you guys have any bralettes? Because I was going to get a padded bra and then I was going to buy bralettes. Well, she was like, well, what size are you? And I was like, well, I've actually been trying to figure that out. I'm not sure. I was just trying on a few different sizes. I've never really had to do this before. So what does she do? She grabs her measuring tape and she puts it around my chest in the middle of the store and around my, everything that she has to measure. And for some reason, I am not a person that gets embarrassed. I've done body painting photo shoots. I have done bikini contests. I have done lots of things to where I should not have been embarrassed that this girl is measuring my bra size in the middle of the store. So I felt my face beet red the whole time I was talking to her because I don't know what I'm talking about. And she's measuring me mid-store in the pink section, not even the section that women are in. It's actually young girls. So it embarrassed me, and I don't usually get embarrassed, but to the point to where I was just kind of laughing at myself for even being in this situation at 31 years old. So I ended up finding my bra size and a bra and getting out of there, and it really led me to wonder, for one, like, is there anybody else going through this right here, right now, like I am? How do we know as women what we should be doing, what's comfortable? Like, how are we figuring this out? I mean, I know social media helps a whole bunch because that's how I've learned a lot with how to do my hair, because right now that I don't have dreadlocks anymore, I'm learning how to do my hair again, how to wash it appropriately, how to dry it appropriately. And I just feel like a child new to this world of women because everything's different now. So it got me to thinking, for one, I'm sure I'm not the only one out here going through not only this change of my body, but also wanting to change the way that I dress now that I'm 30, wanting to be more of a classy woman rather than carefree short shorts. Can't even do that anymore because my thighs rub together. Not that I did it on purpose, but now that is so uncomfortable to me. I have curves, so whenever I even try to wear shorts at all, I'm met with wedgie in the front, wedgie in the back. Very uncomfortable. It's very hard for me to find a pair of shorts that I feel comfortable in. And much less the places that I do wear shorts would be where it gets hot at work, where there are people that stare. And not that I care that people stare, but it's a comfort thing for me. So I've been thinking about what kind of woman I want to be, what that looks like for me. I've been thinking about how I want to carry myself and present myself to, for one, the business world. Now that I'm stepping into a new job where it does matter how you carry yourself and how you are perceived by other people, I have always, I will not say always, I have ever since yoga and massage, I have tried to pay attention to the way I carry myself, the way I walk in a room. And posture is something that I notice first on people from a massage therapist aspect, to where I can see where your pain is or what can happen from you not having posture that benefits your body. So I have, for the most part, especially since massage school, have really focused on staying aligned, working on posture. And I think with that comes confidence. So when I'm walking through a room, for one, because I'm so much in my head, I find myself trying to just walk through the room without thinking about anyone around me, which is very hard to do because I am constantly feeling like people are observing me, which may very well not be the case. It's just, I'm the main character of my story, you know? So I find myself in my head, like noticing people looking at me or watching me, especially at the gym. I just want to go in there, head down, not have anyone look at me, talk to me. So I just look straight ahead, not even looking at anything. I might look like a total bitch. I don't know. But I try to hold my head high with confidence and just look straight forward. Because for one, I'm faking the confidence to be there, much like probably any other room that I'm in besides a room with close friends and family. I feel like faking confidence and having good posture on some days when we don't have that confidence, it helps. I've heard about Superman pose, where if you hold your chest high and your head high, you actually feel a sense of empowerment doing this. So something I really focus on is trying to hold my head high, hold my chest high, relax my shoulders, because I tend to walk like this sometimes too, with my traps all engaged and up to my ears. And that's another thing that I've learned through my yoga practice is learn to be solid, but relaxed. So with that being said, the woman that I strive to be, that I want to be, stepping into my 30s, into this new business world, into being a business owner of not one, but two businesses, what kind of woman do I want to be? Not just appearance wise, but what kind of woman do I want to be in general? Like I said in the last episode, used to pride myself on being a woman that was 100% raw, herself, even if that meant that I was a little rough around the edges, in the fact that you always knew what you were going to get with me. And that made me a little harsh and a little scary. And not that I don't want to be intimidating, because I think the competitive side of me likes to come off a little intimidating, even though it's not my intention. It doesn't bother me that people find me intimidating from what I've heard from people. But I don't ever want to come across as someone who is scary and unapproachable. I want to come across as a woman that other women want at their table. I want to come across as a woman that owns her presence in a room and not rude, or I guess owning my presence in the right way with confidence and class rather than intimidation and speaking my mind. So with becoming this woman in my 30s and thinking about what that looks like for me, it's a woman that thinks before she speaks or before she reacts, even in my personal relationships with my family, with my friends, with my boyfriend, and in professional situations. I really want to be a woman that is unapologetically herself, but being proud of the woman that I am. I want to not let my ego get in the way of carrying myself with grace, if that makes sense. And I also want to allow myself to have grace with myself when I'm not 100% the woman that I think I should be, like sometimes participating in a little bit of gossip with one of my closest friends, or reacting in an emotional situation. I want to have grace with myself in those situations, but also know that I can still come back to this woman that I see myself being, that I want to be, that I want to be proud to be. And also learning how to not take things so personally. I think in my 30s, I have already been on this journey to finding the woman that I want to be, that I want to be proud to be. So let's do it together. Try this with me. Practice when you walk into a room, especially when you're uncomfortable. I'm talking to myself as well. Let's practice right now in private, sitting up straight, seeing what that feels like. Holding your chest high. If If you want to do the Superman arms, do the Superman arms, and just noticing what that feels like. Does it feel stronger? Does it feel like you can accomplish something that's scaring you? Maybe even take a few deep breaths. In this position, it makes me feel good. Especially since I'm having a little bit of anxiety today. Feeling not overwhelmed, but pressure to succeed. I constantly feel this pressure to be successful in anything that I do. So maybe next time you're walking through a room where you feel like people are judging you, or you're in a room where you're uncomfortable because it's new to you, practice sitting up straight, holding your head high, having that confidence, faking it or not, that makes you feel like the woman that you want to be, that you know you can be, that you are, that's in you. Just not letting that mean voice in your head that tells you that you're not all of these things that you want to be, because you are already these things. It's just, for me, practicing being the woman that I want to be, because I know she's in there. I just have to create the habits that make me that woman first, if that makes sense, that make me sit and think before I speak rather than reacting. I really want to present myself in a way that commands respect without being intimidating. So, another story that I have for you guys where I felt like I had to step out of my comfort zone recently. For my real estate license, you have to take a class that basically welcomes you to the local association of realtors in the area. And it's mandatory. It's 2 days. So with this new version of me growing into my womanhood, I was trying to figure out clothes that I would be comfortable in, but also be professional, because I knew we were going to be sitting for a long time. So I went out and bought a few outfits, found some stuff I was comfortable in. I was ready for the day. I had everything that I needed. And I went to the class and I sat there and I tried to hold my head high and listen. And the day before, I was sick. And I knew that I was going to have to sit through this class, go straight to work, close, be there till 2:30 in the morning, get up and go back to this class. And I really, really wanted to be able to be present for this class. So I made myself dress for the part that I wanted. I made myself get up, put makeup on, and made myself sit there with confidence, with my head held high, straight up, and just listened, took notes. And while I was in this class, I had some girls that were sitting behind me. And throughout the class, I heard them talking shit about some of the comments that people would make, or really just talking shit on people and kind of slouching, not really caring. And I definitely got the energy of like, oh, I'm just here because I have to be, but I already know all this stuff, which that's their journey. I wasn't trying to judge them, but I definitely noticed For one, I have bartender ears and I feel like I can hear everything. So I noticed, them scoffing and rolling their eyes at people that may not have known certain things or that didn't sound very educated when they answered questions, or even when one of the teachers that came in was asking us questions, he was like, "You're safe here. It's okay. Like, we know you guys are all new here. It's okay." And people were answering questions, and some of them were getting them wrong. I was getting them wrong. They were getting them wrong. I heard them getting them wrong. But they were just dogging on people. And I don't think that they thought that I could hear them, but I definitely did. And they were even dogging on some of the people that were coming and going through the class to introduce themselves to us. And I just didn't like the way it made me feel, the way it sounded. I felt like they were talking shit on me. And it just kind of made me not want to have to associate with them in the future. Not that I ever spoke a word to these women, but I didn't like the way that it made me feel. And it made me note that I don't ever want to be that person in a room. I don't ever want to be the woman that's dogging on other women and men, or making someone feel like they're not good enough because I think I'm better. I am guilty, as we all are, but it's something that I've really been trying to work on, is coming from it from a place of gratefulness, that I'm grateful that it's not a position that I'm in, that I'm grateful that I've already learned these lessons. But man, is it hard. So that's something that I observed, and that was a note that I made for myself, is that I don't want to be the kind of woman that makes other women feel like, for one, they have to talk shit to sit next to me. And for two, people that may overhear me, I don't want to make them feel self-conscious for anything that they're doing. And it really gave me a different perspective. So on this journey of figuring out the type of woman that I want to be, what her means to me is confidence, comfort in my skin, grace and class, especially in emotional situations where people have triggered me or made me angry. Thinking before I speak. Being a woman that is not intimidating in a negative way, but commands respect. And I think also, with all of that being said, being a woman that has grace with herself and allows herself to be human. I think I am very hard on myself on days that I just don't feel like it, and that I want to relax, or that I don't want to go to the gym. I find myself telling myself, "What are you doing? You could be doing more. You need to build your future. There's so much more things. There's so much more that you could be doing right now, preparing for your future. You can rest later." I want to have more grace for myself. And I really think that's what her looks like for me. I'd love to hear about moments when you felt like you were stepping into the woman that you want to be, or even just womanhood in general. Like I said in my first few episodes, I feel a calling to this space. So with that, I am going through life, observing, noticing, and sharing what's happening around me, what I'm learning, what I'm experiencing, what I'm noticing. And eventually, I will get to the point to where I would like to interview other women, as I've said earlier in earlier episodes. And I have had a few women reach out to me, and they said that they would be interviewed and be interested in telling their story. And I love that, because I think we are all a lot more similar than we think. And I think we all are human at the end of the day and are doing the best we can. And I think we all probably feel very similar in a lot of these situations. So I would like to continue to create this relatable space where we can all share things that we're going through and be open and not embarrassed tonight. I'm going to do a photo shoot with my boyfriend, who is a photographer, and I'm going to attempt to come up with some kind of cover art for my podcast, and also figure out a way to get myself ready to share this with the world and actually launch it to people that don't know me, as well as the people that have been listening to this do. When I think about doing this photo shoot, it makes me feel like an imposter. When I do a lot of things, it makes me feel like an imposter. When I'm hosting my Airbnb, I feel like an imposter. When I'm showing up to these real estate classes, I feel like I'm an imposter. When I'm really doing anything that I am not an expert on or don't feel like I'm an expert on, it feels like I should not be there and like I did not do the hard work to be there. So what I'm getting at is, for this photo shoot, I'm going to fake it till I make it. I'm going to fake the confidence and show up as the woman that I want to be, not as the woman that I am today or think that I am today, because I think we very much live in a world where we have to make ourselves believe that we deserve to be a part of a room we 100% deserve to be a part of. And I will be the first to say, I am the first person to be critical of myself and to not feel like I belong in the room. So this week, I'm going to practice holding my head up high, walking through a room with grace and confidence, and showing up as the woman I want to be. And I invite you to try to do the same. I invite you to step into a room that makes you feel uncomfortable. I really think there's something to this getting out of our comfort zone to grow. It's like we're jumping levels here. And when you get too comfortable in a certain level, it's time to go to the next. So let's keep loading. Let's keep jumping levels together. I'm always here if you want to talk. I would love to share your story. Please write into me and let's keep growing together and loading her. Thank you guys for listening to me today. I really hope that you have a good week and that you feel confident and strong and that you do something that makes you uncomfortable to push past the limits that you have created for yourself. Thank you for listening. We'll talk soon. I love you guys. Bye.
System update. You are now part of the herd.